Well, the speed that Zhang Ruokan burst out just now is at least 76 meters per second. Quote. Chen Ziyer's eyes became incomparably brighter, and her long eyelashes fluttered slightly. In the Xuanji realm, it can burst out at such a fast speed. Once it breaks through to the Earth's extreme realm, then what is it? I really didn't expect my cousin to have such a good fiancé. With Zhang Ruokan's talent, maybe he can really reach the heavenly extreme realm before the age of 30. Quote. In that case, he even has a chance to become a demi-saint. Chen Ziyer pursed her lips slightly and said with a smile, "Cousin, don't blame me for being too greedy, just blame my cousin, in-law, for being too good." Quote. Chen Ziyer has already made up her mind to snatch Zhang Ruokan away from Huang Yanshan's hands. Now, the conflict between Huang Yanshan and Zhang Ruokan is the best opportunity. In a moment, Zhang Ruokan and Yu Qinfen fought more than 10 moves in a row, and their fists and palms were extremely fast, and it was difficult to distinguish between victory and defeat. Yu Qinfen's boxing technique is fierce and domineering. Each punch has the power to crack the stone, and just one punch wind will break a big tree with a bull mouth 10 meters away. With Zhang Ruokan's current cultivation, if he is hit by his punch, even if he does not die, he will be seriously injured. Swallow mountains and rivers. Quote. Yu Qinfen played the spirit, level lower, great fist, chi suppression fist. His arm was like a long dragon, and his true chi rushed out of his fist and hit Zhang Ruokan's face. Dragon elephant 9 stacks. Quote. Zhang Ruokan couldn't dodge, so he could only touch it 5 palms, and 5 palm prints in a row overlapped each other, bursting out with 5 times the strength, colliding with Yu Qinfen's punching technique. Boom. Quote. Zhang Ruokan and Yu Qinfen flew out upside down at the same time. Yu Qinfen only felt a burning pain in his arm, half of his body became numb, and even the true chi in his body was a little unsmooth. How can a martial artist of the Xuanji realm be so powerful? Quote. Under normal circumstances, fighting across a realm is already quite remarkable, and it can be called a peerless genius. Martial artists who fight across 2 realms, there are also some people in the inner palace of the Martial City Academy. For example, Xuan Guihai and Chen Ziyer, geniuses of their level are known as second geniuses. Martial artists who fight across the 3 realms are even rarer, and only the 10 heavenly demons can do it, and they are known as the 3 absolute geniuses. Generally, the 3 peerless geniuses can enter the top 10 of the Zan Bang in the Xuanji realm. For example, Huang Yanshan and Duan Jupiter spirits are basically between the 2nd and 3rd geniuses. As long as they can get the opportunity, they will have the opportunity to become the 3 geniuses. However, Zhang Ruokan can fight across 4 realms. Could it be that his talent is higher than that of the 10 heavenly demon shows, reaching the level of the 4 peerless geniuses? Zuo Lengxuan, who was standing on the side, was also quite surprised. He didn't expect that Zhang Ruokan would be able to fight Yu Qinfen for so long. According to his prediction, when Yu Qinfen was in power, he only needed 3 moves at most to knock Zhang Ruokan to the ground. Zhang Ruokan is really powerful, at least he is a 3rd peer genius, and he may even reach the level of a 4th peer genius. Really, could it be that senior sister Chen took a fancy to his natural potential, so she got so close to him? Zuo Lengxuan's heart gave birth to a strong sense of crisis. If it weren't for the Wuxi Academy, he even wanted to kill Zhang Ruokan to prevent future troubles. I don't believe he's really that strong. Yu Qinfen clenched his teeth and mobilized the true chi of his whole body, rotating around his body, forming a huge vortex of true chi. Megatron. Yu Qinfen punched out, and the true chi vortex poured out. In the middle of the whirlpool, a huge fist shadow appeared, making a sound like the roar of a giant beast. Zhang Ruokan didn't want to entangle with Yu Qinfen anymore, and as soon as his arm stretched, the fallen leaves on the ground flew up one after another, suspended around Zhang Ruokan's body. Were wrapped in true chi, becoming extremely sharp and break. Zhang Ruokan's palm pushed forward, and hundreds of leaves, like flying rain, passed towards Yu Qinfen. Boom! The shadow of the fist shattered. The whirlpool around Yu Qinfen's body was broken in an instant. Dozens of leaves pierced Yu Qinfen's body, marking dozens of blood marks. The powerful impact force made Yu Qinfen fly upside down and fall dozens of meters away. Yu Qinfen trembled all over and let out a heart-rending scream. You dare to hurt the students of the inner palace, Zhang Ruokan, you are so bold, I will abolish your cultivation. Zuo Lengxuan finally found an excuse, burst out with extreme speed, stretched out a finger, and struck at the Tianqin pulse behind Zhang Ruokan. If the Tianqin vein is shattered, then Zhang Ruokan's cultivation will be completely abolished. Zhang Ruokan felt an unprecedented crisis, and the strength of Zuo Lengxuan's fingertips seemed to penetrate his body. What a terrifying power! A cold sweat broke out on Zhang Ruokan's back, and he exerted his speed to the extreme. Zhuo Lengxuan's martial arts cultivation has reached the great pole of the Earth Extreme Realm, and he is a peerless genius. Even an ordinary Earth Extreme Realm great perfection martial artist may not be his opponent. Flint. Zhuo Lengxuan's fingers were already on Zhang Ruokan's. The great pole of the Earth Extreme Realm versus the great perfection of the Zhan Extreme Realm is simply a battle without suspense. Haha, Zhang Ruokan, after your martial arts cultivation is abolished, senior sister Chen will naturally look down on you. Zhuo Lengxuan was very confident in his blow, just a disciple of the outer palace of the great perfection of the Zhan Extreme Realm, one finger was enough to suppress him. Seeing that Zhang Ruokan's Tianqin vein was about to be shattered by Zhuo Lengxuan, suddenly, behind Zhang Ruokan, the air seemed to have turned into a water curtain, and a circle of ripples appeared. Space. Distorted. Zhuo Lengxuan's fingers shifted slightly and hit Zhang Ruokan's left shoulder. Poof. Zhang Ruokan's left shoulder hurt, and the blood flashed, and he was hit by the strength of Zhuo Lengxuan's fingertips, and a blood hole was struck. Zhang Ruokan clenched his teeth, threw himself forward, and opened a distance of more than 10 zhang from Zhuo Lengxuan. It's dangerous. Lucky can use the space realm well and avoid the key points, otherwise, Zhuo Lengxuan's finger just now is enough to abolish my cultivation. Zhang Ruokan's eyes showed a cold color, and he glared at Zhuo Lengxuan fiercely. Senior brother Zhuo, you are not a famous big man in the Inner Palace Academy, how can you also deal with one of my Outer Palace disciples? Zhuo Lengxuan withdrew his finger, a little surprised in his heart. The finger just now could obviously abolish Zhang Ruokan's cultivation, why was he escaped? Maybe he's cultivated some kind of shape-shifting martial art. Zhuo Lengxuan didn't believe that Zhang Ruokan could distort space at all, so he didn't think about it in that direction. Zhuo Lengzan said, Zhang Ruokan, you injured the disciples of the Inner Palace, causing the same sect to kill each other, can't I still abolish your cultivation? Just when Zhuo Lengxuan was about to strike again, Chen Zier turned into a beautiful shadow, rushed from a distance, scolded, and said, Zhuo Lengxuan, you are also a disciple of the Inner Palace, don't you feel ashamed to deal with a disciple of the Outer Palace like this? Seeing Chen Zier, Zhuo Lengxuan had to retract his true anger and said, Senior sister Chen, it was Zhang Ruokan who seriously injured senior brother you first, so I had to teach him a lesson. Chen Zier flew to Zhang Ruokan's side, stopped, held his chest out, and said coldly, Yu Qinfen is a cultivator in the late stage of the Earth Extreme Realm, Zhang Ruokan is just a disciple of the Outer Palace, can he hurt him? Besides, even if Zhang Ruokan injured Yu Qinfen, he could only blame Yu Qinfen for not being proficient in learning. The defeat of the Inner Palace disciples at the hands of the Outer Palace disciples would have been a disgrace to our Inner Palace disciples. When Zhuo Lengxuan saw Chen Zier defending Zhang Ruokan, he was very angry in his heart, clenched his fists, and wanted to break Zhang Ruokan's body into 10,000 pieces. But he had to hold back the anger in his heart, gritted his teeth and said, Senior sister Chen has taught the right lesson, this time I was too reckless. Let's go. Zhao Minggung helped Yu Qinfen, who was seriously injured, up, followed Zhuo Lengxuan, and left the place. After Zhuo Lengxuan and the others left, Chen Zier immediately supported the injured Zhang Ruokan and said with concern, Senior brother Zhang, your injuries don't matter, right? It's just a small injury, and it's not in the way. Zhang Ruokan shook his head with a smile, and then said, Senior sister Chen, you didn't have something to leave, why did you come back again? I heard that Zhuo Lengxuan was going to deal with you, so I rushed back immediately, for fear that Zhuo Lengxuan would be unfavorable to you. Luckily, I arrived in time, and if I had been one step late, the consequences would have been devastating. Chen Zier said, Thank you again, Senior sister Chen, this time, I owe you a favor. Zhang Ruokan said, if Chen Zier hadn't rushed back in time, with Zhang Ruokan's current cultivation, he would definitely not be Zhuo Lengxuan's opponent, and even the hope of escaping would be very slim. Of course, Zhang Ruokan is not completely without a way to save his life, he really can't, and he can hide in the space-time spar. As a last resort, Zhang Ruokan didn't want to expose the space-time spar. Chen Zier's heart was happy, so that Zhang Ruokan owed her a favor, and in the future, she was afraid that Zhang Ruokan would escape from the palm of her hand. Chen Zier took out a small jade bottle, poured out a cyan pill from it, twisted the pill with 2 snow-white slender fingers, and said, This is a 4-grade healing pill, white bone muscle pill, you have to take it now. 4-grade healing pill. Zhang Ruokan shook his head and said, My injury is not serious, it's too wasteful to take 4-grade healing pill, I have other healing pills. A 4-grade healing elixir is worth hundreds of thousands of silver coins. This is not a small amount. Zhang Ruokan doesn't want to owe her a second favor. Chen Zaire's apricot eyes widened, and she said with some displeasure, "Senior brother is not going to Tongsheng Mountain to cultivate. Naturally you have to heal your injuries as soon as possible. As long as you take this white bone muscle pill, within an hour, the injury will be healed." It was difficult to resist the hospitality. Zhang Ruokan no longer refused, and said with a wry smile, "Okay then. I'll do it myself." Chen Zaire shook her head, put the pill to her lips, and actually fed Zhang Ruokan the pill herself. Zhang Ruokan had never been cared about so much, and no one had ever taken the initiative to feed him the pill. In the end, he still swallowed the pill between Chen Zaire's jade fingers, closed his eyes, stood in place, and quickly refined the pill. In the distance, behind a maple tree. It's not good. Huang Yanshan's cousin obviously wanted to attack Zhang Ruokan and take him for himself. Even robbed her cousin's fiancé. That woman is really not simple. Xiao He said. Duanmu Xingling, who came as fast as possible, saw Zhang Ruokan and Chen Zaire who were standing in the distance, and frowned slightly, and said, "With Zhang Ruokan's talent, there are indeed many women who have a crush on him. However, Chen Zaire is the daughter of the palace master, and her status is far beyond ordinary people, so she can have a better choice. Why do you want to chase Zhang Ruokan? There is only one possibility, and that is that she is the fiancé who deliberately wants to rob Huang Yanshan." Xiao He smiled. "If I were Zhang Ruokan, I would not eat the meat sent to the door, and I would not eat it for nothing." Xiao He had a very good relationship with Duanmu Xingling, and when he saw Zhang Ruokan in danger, he immediately went to tell Duanmu Xingling. That's why they saw the scene just now. "You're just a cat, why are your thoughts so disgusting?" Duanmu Xingling rolled his eyes, twisted Xiao He's ear, dragged it away, and walked towards the cultivation secret mansion of Huang Yanshan. She felt that it was necessary to tell Huang Yanshan about this. After all, she also hates Chen Zaire. The white bone muscle pill is worthy of being a 4-grade healing pill, containing a powerful essence of blood and qi and the essence of plants and trees. While Zhang Ruokan was refining Dan Qi, the wound on his left shoulder healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In less than an hour, the injury was completely healed. After the injury healed, Zhang Ruokan separated from Chen Zaire and went to Tongsheng Mountain. "With my current strength, without exposing the sword heart and the spatial realm, I will be able to compete with the martial artists of the small pole position of the Earth Pole realm at most, and even hope to defeat the other party." However, when encountering a strong person of Zuo Lingxuan's level, even if all the whole cards are used, there is no chance of winning. For the realm of cultivation, the gap is too big. Zhang Ruokan's heart was very urgent to break through to the Earth Extreme Realm, but he had to suppress the realm and impact the Supreme Extreme Realm of the Zan Extreme Realm. Moreover, not only to impact the Supreme Extreme Realm, but more importantly, Zhang Ruokan also wants to let the realm settle for a while and lay a more solid foundation. Zuo Lingxuan will definitely not give up. If he deals with me again, how should I deal with it? Zhang Ruokan frowned deeply and felt a huge pressure. When they came to Tongsheng Mountain again, Huo Sheng and Zhao Minggang, who were guarding the mountain gate, did not dare to stop Zhang Ruokan at all, and let him go directly. Even Yu Qinfen was defeated in the hands of Zhang Ruokan. Both of them were only cultivators in the middle of the Earth Extreme Realm, and they were not Zhang Ruokan's opponents. What's more, Zhang Ruokan still has Chen Zaire's support behind him, and they don't dare to offend Zhang Ruokan at all. Walked away, Zhao Minggang and Huo Sheng talked in a low. That Zhang Ruokan really defeated Yu Qinfen. Huo Sheng didn't see that battle with his own eyes, so he still didn't believe it. Zhao Minggang said in a low voice, "I saw it with my own eyes, how can it be fake?" That Zhang Ruokan is very difficult to mess with. He is so powerful before he breaks through the Earth Extreme Realm. If he breaks through the Earth Extreme Realm, it will definitely be even more terrifying. Huo Sheng sneered, "Even if it's powerful. If it weren't for senior sister Chen's support, he would have been abolished by senior brother Zuo. If you can escape once, can you escape a second time?" Having said that, Zhang Ruokan is really lucky. Not only is he engaged to the Lord of Yanshan, but he is also able to get the favor of senior sister Chen. Zhao Minggang said with some jealousy, "Inner palace students like us, Lord Yanshan and senior sister Chen don't bother to look at it at all." Huo Sheng snorted coldly and said, "Do you think this is a good thing for Zhang Ruokan? In the Heavenly Demon Ridge, how many geniuses are there who pursue the Lord of Yanshan and senior sister Chen? How many people can Zhang Ruokan stop? Wait and see. Zhang Ruokan won't be proud for long." In Tongsheng Mountain, there are a total of 6 hurricane cultivation secret rooms, 3 of which are ground-level hurricane cultivation secret rooms, which are specially designed for cultivation places for martial artists in the Earth Extreme Realm. The other 3 are heaven-level hurricane cultivation secret rooms, which are specially designed for cultivation places for heavenly extreme realm martial artists. When Jong Ruokan came to the cultivation secret room, there happened to be an empty ground-level hurricane cultivation secret room. The person guarding the 6 hurricane cultivation secret rooms was an old man in a silver robe. He sat cross-legged on the ground, as if he was cultivating, and it wasn't until Jong Ruokan woke him up that he slowly opened his old eyes. "Aren't you an inner palace student?" The old man stared at Jong Ruokan deeply, his eyes were like needles. Jong Ruokan said, "The student is a student of the outer palace of the West Courtyard." The old man shook his head lightly and said, "If your cultivation has not reached the Earth's extreme realm, it will be very dangerous to enter the Earth-level hurricane cultivation secret room, so you'd better think about it." Jong Ruokan said, "Since the students dare to come to Tongsheng Mountain, they must have thought it very clearly. Jong Ruokan must cultivate the wind-flying dragon shadow to Dacheng as soon as possible, even if it is dangerous, he must enter the ground-level hurricane cultivation secret room to cultivate." The old man had seen too many self-righteous outer palace students, and before entering the cultivation secret room, all of them were high-spirited. However, not long after entering the cultivation secret room, he immediately escaped scarred. "This is not a coffin without tears." The old man no longer advised Jong Ruokan, took out a transparent induction bead, handed it to Jong Ruokan, and said, "Remember 2 points. First, if you are in the cultivation secret room and can't hold on, immediately crush the induction bead. Don't hold on, your life will be in danger. Second, if the cultivation secret room is opened once, you need to pay 100 merit points, and you can cultivate in it for half a month at most. Of course, if you only cultivate in it for a minute, you can't hold on and escape, and the merit points won't be returned to you. Have you thought it through?" "I've thought it through." Jong Ruokan took the induction bead in the old man's hand and walked to the outside of the ground-level hurricane cultivation secret room, waiting for the door of the secret room to open. Boom! Huge stone door of the cultivation secret room slowly opened. Behind the stone gate, a layer of light gates appears that connect the ground to the top. On the light gate, the formation inscriptions were flowing, like ripples on the water. Wow! Jong Ruokan stepped in, his body was swallowed by the light gate, and then he came to a dark cultivation secret room. This is a spherical huge chamber, the diameter of the chamber, about 50 meters. On all sides are stone walls as hard as iron, and the spirit crystals inlaid on the stone walls are like stars in the dark night, emitting sporadic points of light. Other than that, there was nothing else in the cultivation secret room. Suddenly, bright inscriptions appeared on the stone wall, connecting the spirit crystals to everything, forming a fully enclosed formation. Phew! A hurricane poured out of the stone wall with a deafening howl. The originally peaceful cultivation secret room was filled with a hurricane in an instant, and it became turbulent, as if it could tear a person's body apart. Although Jong Ruokan had been prepared, he was still blown out by the hurricane and slammed into the stone wall opposite, making a loud bang. Jong Ruokan's internal organs shook violently, and his body was in pain, but fortunately, his body was strong enough, otherwise, just this impact just now would have knocked him into serious injuries. It is worthy of being a ground-level cultivation secret room. If it were to be replaced by another Xuanji realm great perfection martial artist, he would definitely be seriously injured by now. Before Jong Ruokan could breathe his breath, a strong wind gushed out from the stone wall behind him, blowing him out again. At the same time, wind was blowing in several other directions. Jong Ruokan was like a leaf, he couldn't control his body at all, and hit the stone wall again. Boom, boom, the continuous blowing wind. In just 1 minute, Jong Ruokan hit the stone wall 43 times. Sometimes it was the back hitting the stone wall, sometimes the face hitting the stone wall, sometimes the head hitting the stone wall, and sometimes the head hitting the stone wall. Under the continuous impact, Jong Ruokan was finally injured and spit out a mouthful of blood. Is this how you want to escape from the cultivation room? No, absolutely not. Jong Ruokan clenched his teeth and tried to stay awake. Just when the next wave of wind was blowing, Jong Ruokan immediately analyzed the direction of the wind, cast the wind-flying dragon shadow, and stepped on 9 footsteps in the wind, wanting to compete with the wind. Bang! After only holding on for 2 seconds, Jong Ruokan was blown out again, his right shoulder hit the stone wall fiercely, his right arm instantly became numb, and a sharp pain came from his shoulder, as if his bones had been broken. hang on, was blown out again. Jong Ruokan still tried to control the center of gravity of his body, and use the wind flying dragon shadow to control the hurricane and compete with the wind in all directions. Outside the hurricane cultivation secret room, the silver-robed elder stared at the door of the secret room where Jong Ruokan was, and a smile appeared in his eyes. It's really not a simple kid. He actually resisted for a minute in the ground-level hurricane cultivation secret room, which is more powerful than many inner palace students. I wonder how long he will be able to stay in there. Almost all of the other outer palace students escaped from the cultivation secret room within a minute, and they were already seriously injured. Even if some inner palace students in the early stage of the Earth Extreme Realm entered the ground-level hurricane cultivation secret room for the first time, very few of them were able to hold on for more than a minute. That silver-robed elder originally thought that Jong Ruokan was arrogant, but now he was full of expectations for Jong Ruokan. In the second minute, Jong Ruokan's body hit the stone wall a total of 37 times, which was much better than the first minute. Jong Ruokan gradually adapted to the environment of the hurricane cultivation room, although he would still be blown out, but the number of times he collided with the stone wall became less and less. Soon an hour passed, and the wind in the hurricane cultivation secret room disappeared, and with a bang, Jong Ruokan fell from midair and fell to the ground fiercely. At this moment, Jong Ruokan's whole body did not have any intact skin, and even the bones were broken in 3 places, which can be said to be full of injuries. Finally got through the hour. Jong Ruokan endured the pain, supported his body with bloody hands, and sat cross-legged on the ground. From the space jade bracelet, take out a healing elixir. After taking the pill, Jong Ruokan began to race against time, refining the pill and recovering from his injuries. The formation in the hurricane cultivation chamber is not continuous, and after opening for an hour, it will stop for an hour. This hour's time is extremely precious. It can be used to heal injuries, and it can also be used to digest the fruits of cultivation. It's only been an hour, but I've made a lot of progress. In the beginning, I had to hit the stone wall 43 times a minute, and in the last minute, I only hit the stone wall 27 times. According to Jong Ruokan's estimate, if he could perfectly control the wind power in the ground-level hurricane cultivation secret room, then the wind-flying dragon shadow would be considered to have reached Dachang. Perfectly harnessing the wind is not just as simple as dodging the attack of the wind, but being able to walk freely in the hurricane cultivation room, and even use the wind power to become his own power. I stayed in there for an hour. The silver-robed elder was very surprised in his heart, and he was a little worried that Jong Ruokan had died in the cultivation secret room. It is impossible for an outer palace student to last that long. Even among the inner palace students, at least they need to cultivate in the late stage of the Earth Extreme Realm, so that it is possible to persist in the cultivation secret room for more than an hour. Although he gave Jong Ruokan an induction bead, he really couldn't hold on. He could pinch the induction bead and stop the operation of the formation in the cultivation secret room. But sometimes, before the warrior could pinch the induction bead, he fainted. Once such a thing happens, the martial artists who stay in the cultivation secret room will be a dead end. The silver-robed elder was a little worried, and immediately opened the boulder gate and looked towards the layer of light gate inside. On the light gate is the picture in the cultivation secret. I saw Jong Ruokan sitting in the center of the cultivation secret room, his whole body wrapped in white true qi, and he was cultivating to recuperate. Seeing this scene, the silver-robed elder rubbed his eyes vigorously, stared at it again, and said, "Is he really a student of the outer palace?" Three days have passed. Although Jong Ruokan's injuries are getting worse and worse, he has not escaped, and he is still cultivating the wind-flying dragon shadow in the hurricane secret room. Under the unique environment of the secret room and the huge pressure, Jong Ruokan's progress was rapid. Now, he only hits the stone wall 10 times a minute at most, and even 7 times if he plays well. This is a sign of the progress of the wind-flying dragon shadow. Hitting the stone wall was not just an injury, it was also a tempering of his body. Every time his cultivation ended, Jong Ruokan could feel that his physical body had improved by 1 point, becoming stronger, and the power of his shin bones had become stronger. At the same time, the true qi in the body has also become more refined, and the meridians have become tougher. Although the environment in the hurricane cultivation secret room is very harsh, it is also accelerating my consolidation of the realm. If I continue to cultivate like this, it will only take 3 months at most, and I will be able to temper my current cultivation to perfection. Zhang Ruokan calculated that cultivating in the hurricane chamber would collide with the stone wall hundreds of times almost every day. Half a month passed quickly. In the hurricane cultivation room, Zhang Ruokan almost never rested, either cultivating or recuperating from his injuries. If it weren't for his strong mental power, it is estimated that he would have collapsed long ago. Even so, he now felt exhausted, dizzy, and his whole body seemed to be in a state of confusion, and he couldn't even exert any strength in his body. Of course, after half a month of devilish cultivation, Zhang Ruokan also gained a lot. Now, in the hurricane cultivation chamber, he only collided with the stone wall about 5 times per minute. In the midst of a hurricane, he is at his best and can hang in the air for 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds, he was able to control the wind, control his center of gravity, and ensure that he did not hit the stone wall. Chen Zier walked into Tongsheng Mountain and came to the outside of the hurricane cultivation secret room. She was dressed in a silk shirt of snow silkworms, with her hair tied in a bun, her eyebrows hooked, her lips dyed red, and a white bell still hanging from her head. With each step, a pleasant bell sound is heard. Month, Chen Zier has come to Tongsheng Mountain for he hasn't come out of the cultivation chamber yet. Chen Zier asked. The silver-robed elder stood up and said, he's been cultivating inside for half a month, count the time, it's time to come out. The silver-robed elder knew Chen Zier's identity, so in front of her, he did not pretend to be a senior, but talked to her as an equal. Chen Zier's jade fingers gently touched her chin, a smile appeared on her face, and she said, only in the Zon Extreme Realm, you can last in the ground-level cultivation secret room for half a month. Elder Yao, why do you think he was able to do this? The silver-robed old man said, in the past 10 years, the best genius who has performed in the hurricane cultivation secret room has been the Smoke and Dust County Lord. The first time she came to the hurricane cultivation secret room, she lasted for a total of 3 days. However, her cultivation at that time had already reached the early stage of the Earth Extreme Realm. The second time she came to the hurricane cultivation secret room, she lasted for half a month. Her cultivation at that time had already reached the middle stage of the Earth Extreme Realm. Moreover, that's because she originally had a wind attribute physique, so she could be so powerful. Zhang Ruokan is not a wind attribute physique, and he is a cultivator of the Xuanji realm, but he is even more powerful than the Lord of Yanchen. Then his cultivation is likely to be quite close to the supreme extreme realm of the Zon Extreme Realm. Perhaps, he went to the hurricane cultivation secret room to cultivate just to impact the supreme extreme realm. Hearing the analysis of the silver-robed old man, Chen Zier's fair face showed a hint of discoloration, and said, isn't it that since ancient times, no one has been able to reach the supreme extreme? The silver-robed elder smiled and said, actually, it doesn't mean that no one can reach the supreme extreme, it's just that those who have reached the supreme extreme realm won't say it openly at all, just like Zhang Ruokan. If he reaches the supreme extreme, he will never say it. Chen Zier nodded. If Zhang Ruokan is really impacting the supreme extreme realm, then he can't let him go. Zhang Ruokan, who was covered in bruises, dragged his tired body out of the hurricane cultivation secret room. At this moment, he just wants to find a place to sleep well. Seeing Zhang Ruokan coming out, Chen Zier immediately greeted him. Her voice was crisp and pleasant, and she said with concern, Senior brother Zhang, why are you so badly injured? When Zhang Ruokan saw Chen Zier, he showed a look of surprise and said, Senior sister Chen, why are you here? Chen Zier said, I calculated the time, you will probably be out of the customs today, so I will pick you up. Pick me up? Where will I be picked up? Zhang Ruokan said. Chen Zier glanced at Zhang Ruokan and said, of course, I will take you to recuperate from your injuries, and by the way, you will have a good rest. Although Zhang Ruokan has not rested for half a month and is very tired, he has maintained his sanity. After all, he and Chen Zier are not very familiar, why is she so good to him? No need, Zhang Ruokan said. Chen Zier said, why don't you use it? With your current state, how dangerous it would be to leave the Inner Palace Academy and go outside to find a place to live. Besides, what if you meet Zuo Lingquan again? I have to say that Chen Zier is indeed very smart, and everything she says is what Zhang Ruokan is most worried about now. Zhang Ruokan thought for a moment and said, okay. The Inner Palace disciples of the Martial City Academy only need to spend 100 merit points to exchange for a cultivation secret mansion at the Inner Palace Academy. The vast majority of Inner Palace disciples have their own cultivation secret mansions, and Chen Zier is naturally no exception. Walking into the cultivation secret mansion, 12 maids came out to greet Chen Zier and Zhang Ruokan. Meet the master. The leading maid, who has reached the great pole of the yellow pole realm, looks like she is in her 20s, and her face is quite beautiful. Those maids were quite surprised, because it was the first time that their master had brought a man to the cultivation secret mansion. Chen Zier glanced at Zhang Ruokan and said with a smile, in the Wuxi Academy Palace, as long as there is merit value, anything can be exchanged. For example, these maids, the cheapest maids, can be exchanged for one with a little merit value. As long as the exchange is successful, from now on, she will belong to you. If you have enough merit points, you can even exchange them for maids who have cultivated in the Zon Extreme Realm and the Earth Extreme Realm. Chen Zier commanded, green tea, is the spring water of the 7 spirit elixir ready? According to the master's orders, the potion is ready. The 2 maids said at the same time. Chen Zier nodded and said, you 2 immediately take senior brother Zhang to the medicinal liquid spring to heal his injuries. Zhang Ruokan glanced at Chen Zier, a little surprised in his heart. I've only met her twice, why is she so attentive to me? Even if Chen Zier is Huang Yanshan's cousin, there is no reason to do this. What exactly is her purpose? At this moment, Zhang Ruokan was very tired and didn't want to think about it, so he followed the 2 maids to a bath. The liquid medicine in the bath comes in 7 different colors and gives off a strong fragrance. The spring water of the 7 spiritual elixir liquid is made with 7 kinds of healing liquid in a certain proportion. The value of any one potion is more than 100,000 silver coins, and the combined value of the 7 potions is more than 1,000,000 silver coins. Even the martial artsmiths of the heavenly extreme realm would only use the 7 spirit elixir spring water to heal their injuries when they were extremely seriously injured. Can buy almost half of the city, which can be said to be lying in the spring water of the 7 spirit elixir liquid. Zhang Ruokan felt an indescribable refreshment in his whole body, his pores opened, and he greedily absorbed the medicinal power in the spring water. Gradually, Zhang Ruokan fell asleep in the pool. At the same time, Huang Yanshan came to Chen Zier's cultivation secret mansion, holding the battle sword in one hand and slapping it out with the other. Bang! The brass ring was shattered and fell to the ground. The 2 huge bronze doors suddenly opened under the impact of the palm. Lord of the smoke and dust, the master is in retreat and cultivating, you must not break in now. The 2 maids immediately came out, knelt on the left and right, and said pleadingly. Huang Yanshan held the battle sword, stood up straight, and said with sharp eyes, really? How did I see that she had just returned from Tongsheng Mountain? Phew! A beautiful figure flew out of the cultivation secret mansion, leaving behind a series of afterimages, appearing under a maple tree. It was Chen Zier. With a smile on her face, Chen Zier walked over to Huang Yanshan and said, cousin, who provoked you? Why did you get so angry? Huang Yanshan's eyes were cold, without a trace of a smile, and he said straight to the point. Where is Zhang Ruokan? Tell him to get out of here. Turns out that my cousin is here to find senior brother Zhang. Chen Zier's face did not have a trace of panic, but her smile became more beautiful, and she said softly, senior brother Zhang was cultivating in the hurricane secret room, and he was seriously injured, and he is now healing in the spring water of the 7 spirit elixir liquid. Huang Yanshan's eyes were even colder, and he said, cousin, he is my fiancé, even if he wants to heal, he should go to my place to heal. I'm afraid it's not good for him to live in your cultivation secret mansion. Chen Zier still smiled and said, it's not because of the last incident in Tianyu Tower, he was worried that you were still angry with him, so he didn't go to look for you, and temporarily lived in my cultivation secret mansion. Cousin, go back first. I will help you take care of senior brother Zhang, as long as you are in my cultivation secret mansion, no one can hurt him. Huang Yanshan didn't mean to leave, his eyes sank, and he said, Chen Zier, don't go too far. What you're thinking, I know very well. To tell you honestly, since Zhang Ruokan is engaged to me, then he is my fiancé. Any woman who dares to attack his ideas is an enemy of me. Chen Zier smiled, hee. I really didn't expect that my cousin really regarded senior brother Zhang as her fiancé, I thought you were just a fake engagement. Cousin, don't worry, if a woman really dares to beat her cousin-in-law, I will also help you teach her a lesson. Huang Yanshan and Chen Zier have been fighting together since they were children, so she knows Chen Zier very well. Zier is the kind of woman who will do anything to achieve her goals, and she must have seen Zhang Ruokan's talent and potential, so she will take the initiative to compete for Zhang Ruokan. She is not only to rob Zhang Ruokan, but also to fight Huang Yanshan. Only by grabbing Zhang Ruokan can she show that she is better and more attractive than Huang Yanchen. Huang Yanchen was too lazy to play tricks with Chen Zier, and said, "Where is Zhang Ruokan? Today, I must take him away, and if anyone dares to stop me, don't blame me for being unkind." Chen Zier smiled and said, "Cousin, don't blame my cousin for not reminding you. Men don't like to be forced by women. If you have to take him away, I'm afraid it will backfire. I don't need you to teach me how to do things." Huang Yanchen's eyebrows were slightly horizontal. He stared at Chen Zier coldly, dragged his magnificent long blue hair, and walked in the direction of the Seven Spirit Medicine Spring Pool. I have to say that Chen Zier's words did remind her and calm down the irritable Huang Yanchen a little. Huang Yanchen's footwork was light, with a faint fragrance on his body. He walked to the edge of the Seven Spirit Medicine Spring Pool, and looked at Zhang Ruokan who was healing in the pool. She didn't wake him up from the pool immediately, but waited very quietly on the side, carefully observing Zhang Ruokan. It was undeniable that in the Hurricane Cultivation secret room, he was really seriously injured. Dada. Chen Zier followed in from outside, stood opposite Huang Yanchen, and said with a smile, "Cousin, I really don't understand. With your high vision, could it be that you were really in love with Zhang Ruokan?" Huang Yanchen held the sword in his hand, and he was very powerful, like a goddess in the picture scroll, with no emotion on his face, and said, "You had better not interfere in the matter between me and Zhang Ruokan, otherwise, don't blame me for turning my face against you." Chen Zier smiled, "Hee. Cousin, you make it really difficult for me. After all, Zhang Ruokan is so good, and I am also very excited. How about our fair play? Fair competition. There is no such possibility." Yellow Smoke Road. "You don't have confidence in yourself." Chen Zier puffed her chest as if provocatively, revealing a full arc from her chest to her waist. Huang Yanchen's eyes narrowed, staring at Chen Zier, and said, "In the 36 counties of the Heavenly Demon Ridge, there are many men who are better than Zhang Ruokan. Why do you have to compete with me?" Chen Zier pursed her crystal lips and said with a smile, "Since there are many men who are better than Zhang Ruokan, why can't my cousin give him to my cousin?" Huang Yanchen's gaze froze, no longer suppressing the anger in his heart, and said, "Okay. If you can catch my 10 swords with your bare hands, I'll give you a chance to compete." Phew. The sword in Huang Yanchen's hand automatically flew out of the sheath, turned into a blue treasure light, dragged out a long sword chi, and stabbed towards Chen Zier's chest. Chen Zier smiled, twisted her delicate body, took off, and rushed up more than 7 zhang high, avoiding the first sword of yellow smoke and dust. Huang Yanchen's cultivation had reached the middle stage of the Earth Pole realm, and his speed was faster than before, reaching more than 100 meters per second, rushing out like a phantom, pinching the hilt of the sword, and slashing out with his sword in midair. Sword Rain Light Song formed a huge sword net, attacking Chen Zier from the Chen Zier's cultivation is between Huang Yanchen and Huang Yanchen. The difference is that Huang Yanchen has more advantages in speed, and the true qi contains the power of a strong wind attribute. Although, Huang Yanchen's swordsmanship is sharp and powerful, with an invincible momentum. Chen Zier's true qi contained the power of the wood attribute, and her combat power was slightly inferior to Huang Yanchen, but she had a high talent in alchemy. Therefore, Chen Zier is not only a martial artist, but also a second-grade alchemist. Aoki Shield. Cyan true qi poured out from Chen Zier's palms, condensing a 1-meter-long cyan shield armor in front of him. Boom. The powerful sword qi shattered the shield armor. Chen Zier also took this opportunity to jump backwards and landed on the top of a maple tree not far away. Her body seemed to have no weight, just stepping on a maple leaf, but her delicate body hung in the air, not falling. Wow! The true qi in Huang Yanchen's body was released, forming a huge true qi vortex, and wind blades flew in the true qi vortex, like an invisible sword. Slash. With a finger of the battle sword, one wind blade after another slashed towards Chen Zier, and with the momentum of destroying the withering and decaying, the maple tree was instantly smashed into pieces of sawdust. Chen Zier jumped into the air, turned into an arc, and flew towards the lake in the distance. The storm is rising. Huang Yanchen caught up with him at a faster speed, and with a swing of his sword, the powerful sword qi rolled up a large wave of water on the surface of the lake, surging towards Chen Zier. Gotta leave. In the 7 Elixir Spring Pool, Zhang Ruokan opened his eyes, sighed lightly, and took advantage of the time when Huang Yanchen and Chen Zier were fighting, and immediately got up from the pool, and before he had time to change his clothes, he quietly left Chen Zier's cultivation secret mansion. Zhang Ruokan was indeed very tired, and the injuries on his body were also very serious, but when Huang Yanchen arrived at the 7 Spirit Medicine Spring Pool, he was still the first to wake up. Because of his strong mental strength, even when he is asleep, once someone approaches, he can wake up as soon as possible. In other words, he had actually woken up a long time ago, and heard the conversation between Huang Yanchen and Chen Zier. It was precisely because of hearing their conversation that Zhang Ruokan chose to pretend to be asleep. Senior sister Huang already regrets her fake engagement with me. No, something must have gone wrong. With her arrogant character, how could she look up to me? Zhang Ruokan shook his head gently, not happy because of Huang Yanchen's words, but very headache. What's the matter with senior sister Chen? I've only met her twice. Zhang Ruokan turned around and took a look. Huang Yanchen was still fighting with Chen Zier. The entire cultivation secret mansion was shattered, and even an attic was shattered by the sword qi and turned into ruins. Fortunately, they left quietly while they were fighting, otherwise, I really don't know how to solve this matter. With Huang Yanchen's character, anything can be done. As soon as he walked out of Chen Zier's cultivation secret mansion, Zhang Ruokan heard a series of silver bell-like laughter behind him. I didn't expect you to survive and escape from inside. Duan Muxingling walked out from a distance, with a playful smile on his face, revealing 2 rows of snow-white teeth. Obviously, she had been waiting outside for a long time. When Zhang Ruokan saw Duan Muxingling, he suddenly felt like he had seen a savior, and said solemnly, "Senior sister Duanmu, you are so good to come. I'm in big trouble, and this time, you're going to have to help me." Duan Muzing's eyes were cold, and he said with a smile, "Really? You have to provoke Chen Zier yourself, and now you know that there is a big trouble. Can you not say cool things? Besides, I never took the initiative to provoke her, and I don't know what happened. In fact, including senior sister Huang, I just had a respectful attitude and never thought that it would develop into today's situation." Zhang Ruokan's brows were tightly locked, his mind was chaotic, and he had no clue. "Really?" Duan Muxingling's eyes lit up slightly, and he said, "You really don't mean that to Sister Chen?" "Not really," Zhang Ruokan said solemnly. "All right, since you plead with me so much, then I will help you once." Duan Muxingling nodded lightly and said, "This is not the place to talk, go to my cultivation secret mansion to avoid the limelight first. If you let them chase them out, you won't be able to leave." Coming to Duan Muxingling's cultivation secret mansion, Zhang Ruokan gradually calmed down. Although emotionally, Zhang Ruokan seems ignorant, he is simply a rookie, but he still quickly sorted out his thoughts. How are you going to deal with your relationship with Sister Chen? Although Sister Chen has always been cold and never confided in anyone, I can see that she should have true feelings for you. If you really think that after 3 years, she will voluntarily withdraw from the marriage, then you are very wrong. Duan Muxingling squinted and smiled. Zhang Ruokan frowned slightly, still a little unbelieving that Huang Yanchen would really be emotional, shook his head, and said, "I think senior sister Huang is not a woman who can be easily emotional, let alone be emotionally emotional. She should have taken care of her own face, so she broke into senior sister Chen's cultivation secret mansion. After all, I'm her nominal fiancé, and she doesn't want people to gossip." Duan Muxingling smiled. "Senior brother, are you putting all your energy into cultivation, so you don't understand women at all? Do you think that if Sister Chen didn't care about you at all, she would take the initiative to break into Chen Zier's cultivation secret mansion? Maybe she doesn't even know that she has developed very delicate feelings for you." "So what now?" Zhang Ruokan said. "What else can I do? Sister Chen and Chen Zier are both the proud daughters of the Martial City Academy. I don't know how many people want to get their favor, you don't know how lucky you are. Senior sister Duanmu, can you be serious?" Duan Muxingling became serious and said, "I think you should not see them for the time being, and then slowly observe their attitudes." Zhang Ruokan nodded lightly and said, "Then I can only live in your cultivation secret mansion temporarily, and I hope that senior sister will keep it secret for me." "It's a small thing." Duan Muxingling smiled. "I just hope that Sister Chen won't misunderstand, and I also want to intervene sideways." For the next 5 days, Zhang Ruokan stayed in Duan Muxingling's cultivation secret mansion, and the injuries on his body gradually healed, and his energy returned to a full state again. Zhang Ruokan bought a large number of healing pills, entered Tongsheng Mountain again, and came to the ground-level hurricane cultivation secret room, completely leaving behind the troubles from Huang Yanchen and Chen Zier, and just wanted to impact the supreme extreme realm of the Xuanji realm as soon as possible. Now he is very eager to reach the extreme realm. As long as he reaches the extreme realm, he can have the ability to protect himself. At that time, he doesn't have to deliberately avoid Huang Yanchen and Chen Zier, he can take over the task of the Wuxi School Palace and go outside to practice. As long as you don't meet them, you don't have to think about those headaches. Entering the Hurricane Cultivation secret mansion again, Zhang Ruokan's state became better, and his understanding of the wind-flying dragon shadow was also better. Phew. In the cultivation room, the wind was fierce, and there was a strong wind in all directions. Zhang Ruokan tried his best to control his center of gravity, in the wind, stepping on his pace, controlling the wind, like an afterimage, constantly changing directions in the wind. Bang! After holding on for 40 seconds, Zhang Ruokan was accidentally hit by the wind that suddenly appeared at the top, hit the ground, and fell to the ground. In cultivation, time flies extremely fast. Soon, half a month has passed. Zhang Ruokan's progress is huge. On average, he will only collide with the stone wall once a minute, and collide with the stone wall about 120 times an hour. When Zhang Ruokan entered the Hurricane Cultivation secret room for the third time, his ability to control the wind was stronger, and he would only collide with the stone wall 10 times at most in an hour. Zhang Ruokan entered the Hurricane Cultivation secret room for the fourth time, and he could already walk leisurely in the strong wind, without worrying about losing his center of gravity at all. In the past 3 months, Zhang Ruokan has entered the Hurricane secret room to cultivate 5 times, and each time he cultivates for half a month. The rest of the time, Zhang Ruokan spent almost all of his time in the cultivation secret mansion of Duan Jupiter Spirit, either healing his injuries or realizing the progress of the wind-flying dragon shadow. On the 7th day of Zhang Ruokan's 6th entry into the Hurricane secret room to cultivate, he finally cultivated the wind-flying dragon shadow to Dacheng, with the fastest burst speed reaching 81 meters per second, and successfully impacted the supreme extreme realm of the Xuanji realm. It seems that the speed has only increased slightly, but it has crossed the limit of the martial artists of the Xuanji realm. Just when Zhang Ruokan reached his extreme speed, a certain layer of barrier between heaven and earth seemed to be broken through, and powerful aura fluctuations erupted. The aura in the entire cultivation secret room turned into a trickle, surging towards Zhang Ruokan, converging into a pillar of light, condensing on the top of Zhang Ruokan's head. Wow! In the cultivation secret room, ancient and sacred phantoms appeared, like the imprints of gods. They float in the void and make a sing-awkward sound. The second time the gods resonate. The divine light and aura were intertwined, pouring into Zhang Ruokan's body, and with a bang, the chi lake in Zhang Ruokan's eyebrows was broken and turned into pieces. Those fragments quickly recombined and condensed into a chi lake that was 100 times larger than the original. In fact, it can no longer be called a gas lake, it should be called a sea of air. At this moment, Zhang Ruokan not only reached the supreme extreme realm of the Xuanji realm, but also opened up the sea of qi in one fell swoop, reaching the martial arts realm in the early stage of the earth extreme realm. On the walls of the qi sea, there are divine imprints, which are clearer than the original. A faint divine light, like stars, illuminating Zhang Ruokan's. The true qi in the qi lake, affected by the imprint of the gods, actually contained a faint trace of divinity. Zhang Ruokan had just reached the early stage of the earth extreme realm, but his true qi was even purer than that of the great perfection of the earth extreme realm. This is the benefit that the second resonance of the gods brought to Zhang Ruokan. He didn't just break through one realm, but broke through 2 realms, and his martial arts cultivation took a big leap. About half an hour later, the spirit crystals on the stone wall of the Hurricane's cultivation chamber all turned dim and turned into powder. The aura in the spirit crystal was completely absorbed by Zhang Ruokan. In the Hurricane cultivation chamber also stopped working. The entire chamber became silent and pitch black. Why did the formation in the Hurricane cultivation secret room suddenly stop? Elder Yao, who was guarding the Hurricane cultivation secret room, noticed the change in the cultivation secret room, and immediately opened the door of the secret room and walked in. When Elder Yao walked into the cultivation secret room, the phantom of the gods had disappeared, leaving only Zhang Ruokan sitting quietly in the center of the cultivation secret room. Zhang Ruokan opened his eyes and asked in sum, "I want to ask you what happened." Elder Yao looked at the stone walls around him, and saw that the stone walls that were originally inlaid with spirit crystals appeared one after another. 786 spirit crystals, all of which were turned into powder. How huge is the aura contained in the 786 spirit crystals, and where did all this aura go? Elder Yao's eyes were like torches, staring at Zhang Ruokan tightly, sensing the huge changes in Zhang Ruokan's body, and said with some surprise, "Have you broken through to the extreme realm?" "It's time to break through." Zhang Ruokan stood up and looked at the pits on the stone wall, and was also startled. The resonance of the gods actually consumed the aura of hundreds of spirit crystals at one time. Fortunately, it was in the cultivation secret room. If it broke through outside, it would definitely cause greater movement. Elder Yao stared at Zhang Ruokan deeply, as if he had guessed something, and said, I will report this matter to the top management of the Academy Palace, and you should try to keep it confidential and don't spread it. Students understand, Zhang Ruokan said. Elder Yao said, since you have broken through to the extreme realm, you are even an inner palace disciple, you can go to the Academy Palace to register now and receive the token of the inner palace disciple. After becoming a disciple of the inner palace, you will be treated better, and a genius like you, the Academy Palace will also spend a lot of resources to cultivate. After Zhang Ruokan left the Hurricane Cultivation secret room, Elder Yao still had a complicated look in his eyes, and said to himself, could it be that he has really reached the supreme extreme realm of the Zan extreme realm? Elder Yao left Tongsheng Mountain and rushed in the direction of the Elder Pavilion. The Pavilion of Elders is divided into the Pavilion of the Elders in the silver robe and the Pavilion of the Elders in the golden robe. There are a total of 158 members of the Silver Robe Elders Pavilion, of which 54 are in the Inner Palace Academy. The other silver-robed elders were either sent to serve in the 4 courtyards of the Outer Palace, or sent to the 36 counties to take charge of the business of the Wuxi Chenjuang. The pavilion master of the silver-robed elder pavilion, named Lei Jing, was already 94 years old, but he looked like he was only in his 50s, with a burly body, huge eyes, and a tiger's back, without a trace of old age. After listening to Elder Yao's proclamation, Lei Jing also showed a solemn expression, pondered for a moment, and said, the Supreme Extreme Realm is unlikely, but that little guy should be quite close to the Supreme Extreme Realm. According to the latest information collected, 4 months ago, that little guy and Yan Lishuan, the first of Xuanbang, had a secret battle in Lu Xuanshan's mansion. At that time, the fastest speed he burst out was 76 meters per second. Body martial art in the Hurricane Chamber. Let's assume that if he has already cultivated that kind of body martial art to the fullest, then his speed will definitely increase again. I estimate that he will reach a speed of at least 77 meters per second before he breaks through the extreme realm. Quote. Elder Yao's heart trembled, and he said, Pavilion Master, if Zhang Ruokan's fastest speed in the Xuanji realm reaches 77 meters per second, he should also be able to rank in the top 10 among this generation in the entire Kunlun realm. Quote. Lei Jing nodded and said, after all, he has just broken through to the Earth Extreme Realm, and it is too early to draw any conclusions. If he can break through to the Heavenly Extreme Realm within 5 years, I will definitely meet him in person. Quote. Elder Yao frowned slightly and said, before the age of 30, it is very rare for a martial artist to be able to break through to the Heavenly Extreme Realm. 5 years later, Zhang Ruokan was only 22 years old. Is it possible for a 22-year-old Heavenly Extreme Realm martial artist to do so? Quote. Lei Jing nodded lightly, and also felt that it was unlikely, thought about it and said, in terms of cultivation resources, you can appropriately tilt towards him and give him the treatment of a martial artist in the Earth list. Quote. There are only 3 people in the entire Inner Palace Academy who are martial artists of the Earth list, and each of them is a genius who defends the sky and can enjoy the treatment of a silver-robed elder. Zhang Ruokan was in the early stage of the Earth Extreme Realm, and he gave him the treatment of a martial artist in the Earth list, which was afraid that it would cause dissatisfaction among other students. Quote. Elder Yao was a little worried. Lei Jing said with a smile, you can give Zhang Ruokan a task. If he can't become the top 10 students in the Inner Palace Academy within a year, he will be given the same treatment. Quote. Elder Yao thought of another thing and said, there is one more thing. Before I came, when I found out that Zhang Ruokan was in the Xuanji realm, he was already ranked 37th on the black market's bounty list, with a bounty of 14.7 million silver coins. Now that he has broken through to the extreme realm, I'm afraid the bounty will become even higher. Such a high bounty will definitely make many ruthless people in the black market tempted. With Zhang Ruokan's current cultivation, I am afraid that he will not be able to deal with those ruthless people. Quote. Lei Jing said, the growth of any strong person is very difficult, and if we help him clear all threats, it may not be a good thing for him. The crisis that should be faced by himself has to be faced by himself, and it is also a kind of grinding for him. Quote. Elder Yao nodded lightly and retreated. After Zhang Ruokan left Tongsheng Mountain, he went to receive the token of the Inner Palace Disciple and officially became the Inner Palace Disciple of the Wuxi Shui Palace. Becoming a disciple of the Inner Palace, there are naturally many preferential treatments. For example, points can be exchanged for cultivation secrets. You can also take your family members to live in Heavenly Demon Martial City, and in Heavenly Demon Martial City, the Martial City Academy Palace will protect the safety of students' families. Moreover, becoming a disciple of the Inner Palace, you can receive a drop of half-holy true liquid every month. At the same time, merit points can also be exchanged for demi-holy true liquid. 200 merit points can be exchanged for a drop of half-holy true liquid. Of course, to become a disciple of the Inner Palace, you must also help the Academy Palace. Every quarter, you have to help the school palace at least once a mission. The task, you can get the merit points rewarded by the becoming a disciple of the Inner Palace. Zhang Ruokan did not rush to exchange his cultivation secret mansion, but came to Duanmu Xingling's cultivation secret mansion. Have you broken through to the extremes of the earth? Duanmu Xingling showed a happy expression, looked at Zhang Ruokan carefully, and said with a somewhat charming smile, I'm really curious, how strong are you now? Why don't we do 2 tricks? Zhang Ruokan smiled, it's okay. I'm also wondering how much power I can exert now. It has been 8 months since Duanmu Xingling entered the Inner Palace Academy, and with the large amount of cultivation resources she has obtained in the Red Sky Secret Mansion, her cultivation has reached the late stage of the Earth Extreme Realm, and her cultivation speed can be described as amazingly fast. The most important thing is that Xiao He lives in the cultivation secret mansion of Duan Jupiter Spirit, and has refined a large number of ice vein pills, all of which are taken by Duan Jupiter Spirit. It was precisely for this reason that Duan Jupiter Spirit's cultivation speed would be so fast, otherwise, she would definitely still be stuck in the middle of the Earth Extreme Realm now. Just when Zhang Ruokan and Duanmu Xingling were about to fight, an uninvited guest came to the cultivation secret mansion, and the two who were originally going to test their martial arts had to stop. This uninvited guest is none other than Huang Yanchen. Sister Chen, we haven't seen each other in a while since the last mission to find the colorful antlers in the Valley of the Black Wind, right? Duanmu Xingling sat on the side of the stone table, ordered the maid to bring tea, and said with a smile. Huang Yanchen and Zhang Ruokan sat in the other 2 directions. Huang Yanchen didn't seem to hear Duanmu Xingling's words, stared at Zhang Ruokan, and said expressionlessly, you have become a disciple of the Inner Palace. Quote. Zhang Ruokan remained calm, smiled faintly, and said, I just broke through today. Huang Yanchen nodded, hesitated for a moment, and said, I helped you exchange a cultivation secret mansion, which is adjacent to my cultivation secret mansion. This is the key to the secret palace. Quote. Huang Yanchen took out a key and put it on the table. Zhang Ruokan's eyelids jumped slightly, he didn't expect Huang Yanchen to do this, he pondered for a moment, and said, thank you, senior sister Huang. Quote. Thank you for me. I just can't get used to seeing you live here all the time. Don't you know that it will disturb senior sister Duanmu's cultivation? Quote. Yellow Smoke Road. Duan Jupiter Ling, who was sitting at the other end, sighed softly in his heart. Zhang Ruokan also heard the change in Huang Yanchen's tone. In the past, Huang Yanchen called Duanmu Xingling Star Spirit, but now he is directly called Duanmu Senior Sister. I lived in senior sister Duanmu's cultivation secret mansion, which caused a gap in their relationship. Quote. Zhang Ruokan's heart secretly said. He didn't like it very much. All 3 of them were silent, and the atmosphere seemed very depressing. After a while, Duanmu Xingling took the initiative to break the deadlock and said with a smile, I'm going to take on a mission, and I need 2 helpers. Since senior brother Zhang has broken through to the Earth Pole realm, it is just the right time for the 3 of us to complete that task. The merit point reward for that mission is as high as 600 points, and if the mission is completed, all 3 of us can get 200 merit points. Quote. Zhang Ruokan knew that Duanmu Xingling wanted to change the topic, so he immediately asked, what task? Quote. Duan Jupiter Spirit said, go to the primary ruins of the Red Plains and hunt the 3rd order brute beast, Golden Eye Soul Eater. As long as you gouge out the eyes of the Golden Eye Soul Eater, and bring it back to the Martial City Academy, you can exchange it for 600 merit points. However, the power of the Golden Eyed Soul Eater is very strong, and I am afraid that I will not be able to kill it with my own strength, so I plan to ask for your help. Quote. The eyes of the Golden Eyed Soul Devouring Beast have a strong medicinal value and can be used to refine the 3-rank pill. Hunting the Golden Eye Soul Eater beast is not dangerous, and the merit value is as high as 600 points, but you can accompany the Jupiter Spirit to a trip to the primary ruins of the Red Plains. Zhang Ruokan thought so in his heart, and looked at Huang Yanchen. Huang Yanchen's eyes showed a look of disdain, and he said coldly, it's a waste of time to have only 600 merit points. I have a better mission here, the most heavyweight mission that the Academy has released in recent years. Duanmu Xingling was slightly startled and said, what task? Zhang Ruokan also showed a curious look. Huang Yanchen said, half a year ago, the black market and the moon worship demon sect joined forces to destroy the property of the martial city Qianzhuang in the Yunwu County Kingdom. At the same time, the black market and the moon worship demon cult have developed on a large scale in the Yunwu County Kingdom, establishing a branch rudder and controlling the major economic lifelines, wanting to completely squeeze the Wuxi Qianzhuang out of the Yunwu County Kingdom. Just now, the Martial City School Palace immediately made a response strategy and issued a mission. All the outer palace disciples and inner palace disciples of the Martial City Academy Palace, as long as they kill a black market and moon worship demon sect's yellow extreme realm great perfection martial artist, they can gain a little merit point. Killing a martial artist in the early stage of the Zan extreme realm can earn 10 merit points. Killing a Xuanji realm great perfection martial artist will give you 100 merit points. Killing a warrior at the beginning of the extreme realm can earn 500 merit points. Depending on the strength of the enemy, the stronger the enemy you kill, the more merit points you get. If you can exterminate a branch of the black market, or a branch of the moon demon cult, and kill all the important members above the Xuanji realm, you can directly get 1,000 merit points. Any powerful rudder or chapter has a higher merit value. For example, the rudder of the demon sect in Peiyun County, because there is a strong man of the great perfection of the earth extreme realm, the merit value is as high as 5,000 points. If you can exterminate the demon sect helm and the black market association, the merit value will be even higher. Zhang Ruokan's expression moved, and he said, is Wuxi Qianzhuang going to start an all-out war with the black market and the moon worship demon sect? Huang Yanchen said, it's not a full-scale war, the battlefield is only in Yunwu County, and only the inner palace students and outer palace students are involved, and elder-level figures can't participate. In the war, Zhang Ruokan nodded and said, if an elder-level figure joins in, it is likely to trigger a full-scale war in the 36 counties, and at that time, the martial city Qianzhuang may not be able to control the situation. Wuxi Qianzhuang should only want to take revenge on the black market and the moon worship demon sect. Duanmu Xingling frowned lightly and said, the evil people of the black market and the moon worship demon sect are all ruthless and cunning, and their methods are vicious, and it is definitely quite dangerous to fight with them. Sister Chen, are you sure you want to take on the task? Huang Yanchen said, wait and see. Even if we don't pick it up, other students will definitely rush to Yunwu Zhongguo. This is an opportunity to earn a lot of merit points, and no one wants to miss it. Huang Yanchen's gaze stared at Zhang Ruokan and said, Zhang Ruokan, are you willing to go to the Red Plains primary ruins with senior sister Duanmu to hunt the golden eye soul devouring beast, or are you willing to go with me to the Yunwu County Kingdom to hunt the evil people of the black market and the moon worship demon sect? Zhang Ruokan smiled slightly bitterly, promising that either party would offend the other party. How does this make him choose? Zhang Ruokan said, my cultivation has just broken through, and the realm is not stable enough. In the past month, I want to consolidate the realm first, and I don't plan to go out to do tasks. Huang Yanchen bit his lip gently, glanced at Zhang Ruokan coldly, stood up a little arrogantly, didn't say a word, and walked outside, leaving the cultivation secret mansion of Duanmu Xingling. Seeing Huang Yanchen leaving, Zhang Ruokan let out a long breath, shook his head and said, the black market and the moon worship demon sect have been hiding in the shadows, and their power is not weaker than that of the martial city Qianzhuang at all. Wuxi Qianzhuang wants to deal with them, how can they not make a strategy to deal with them? Senior sister Huang thought about the problem too simply, dealing with the black market and the moon worship demon sect is definitely a rather dangerous task. Duanmu Xingling nodded and said, you're right, the power of the black market and the moon worship demon sect is huge, and it's not a soft persimmon. Although the black market and the moon worship demon sect will not fight back on a large scale, they will definitely send young masters to deal with the students of the martial city Qian village. Zhang Ruokan said, the Wuxi Academy must have taken into account various factors before making such a decision. Perhaps, this is a way for them to train their students. Duanmu Xingling's eyes narrowed, and he smiled, are you sure you don't go to Yunwu County with Sister Chen to do a mission? I think she really seems to be angry. We'll talk about it in a few days. Zhang Ruokan put away the key to the cultivation secret mansion on the table, squeezed it tightly in his hand, and then left the cultivation secret mansion of Duanmu Xingling. Xiao He still lived in the cultivation secret mansion of Duanmu Xingling, while Zhang Ruokan left the Inner Palace Academy and went to Lu Xuanshan's mansion. Although he is now a popular figure on the bounty list, and many people want to kill him, he is relatively safe in Heavenly Demon Martial City. Even if it was a martial artist of the Heavenly Extreme Realm, it would be difficult for him to escape if he killed the Inner Palace disciple of the Martial City Academy Palace in the Heavenly Demon Martial City. Besides, Zhang Ruokan has now broken through to the early stage of the Earth Extreme Realm, and he can be regarded as stepping into the ranks of martial arts masters, and ordinary killers can't kill him at all. When he came to Lu Xuanzhen's mansion again, the first person Zhang Ruokan saw was Zhang Xiaochu. Zhang Xiaochu has been staying in the Heavenly Demon Martial City, and has not returned to the Western Courtyard, and the cultivation realm has improved very quickly, and he has reached the great perfection of the Xuanji realm. Ninth brother, fortunately, with the half-Saint True Liquid you gave me, my cultivation can improve so quickly. My fastest burst speed now is 56 meters per second, and although I don't have any hope of attacking the Xuanbang martial artist, I am also a top master under the Xuanbang martial artist. Quote. Zhang Xiaochu was very proud. He didn't expect that he would be able to reach the great perfection of the Xuanji realm so quickly. According to his own estimates, he will have to wait at least another 3 years to reach his current state. It was Zhang Ruokan's help that made his cultivation improve by leaps and bounds. Zhang Ruokan looked at Zhang Xiaochu, thought for a moment, took out the spirit paper and inscription pen, and quickly wrote down a volume of spirit, level middle, grade martial arts, King Kong Tai Duquan method. Fourth brother, your martial arts cultivation has reached the great perfection of the Xuanji realm, and if you change to other exercises now, it will have a great impact on you. I have a set of boxing techniques here, called the Vajra Tai-Do Fist method, which can temper your martial body to a certain extent. If you can successfully cultivate this set of boxing techniques, your martial arts will definitely be able to reach a higher level. Quote. Zhang Ruokan handed the spirit paper that recorded the boxing technique to Zhang Xiaochu. Zhang Xiaochu took the spirit paper, carefully observed it for a long time, and could feel the subtlety of the Vajra Tai-Do Fist technique, immediately stuffed it into his sleeve, and said in a low voice, Ninth brother, this set of fist techniques you gave me is at least a set of spirit, level martial arts, right? Quote.